This is Guy Fratelloni, and tonight, Sunday night, probably around 9:30. I've been busy today, so haven't had much time to even think about making videos. We're going to do something special, and this set is very special. This one is open, and I'm going to show you the entire contents of the Silver Anniversary Collector's Edition box set that TSR slash Magic, I think they owned the company at the time, before they in turn were bought out by Hasbro. This is the Silver Anniversary box set, which has some amazing things inside. Plus, I just would like to say, if you have this unopened, it's still in the shrink wrap. They're selling right now on eBay for over $500. You'd be lucky to get one, to find one, because, I don't know, there probably were just a limited amount of these made. And essentially, they're not very interesting on the outside, but we're going to open it up right now. I've actually owned this for many years, and I've looked at it before, but you're going to be able to see what is inside. All right, we're going to start right here. So this comes off. So anyway, you get this booklet here, and it goes through all the material. I'm going to keep that a little hidden secret. And it talks about Peter Addickson talks a little bit about how fortunate he's been with the company. It talks about the life of Gary Gygax. Here's an unpublished photo, here to unpublished before this. And they're going to talk about the game and how, it was like Gary's dream to, essentially start this company. But unfortunately, money troubles at the very beginning handcuffed him, and eventually they took the company away from him. It's important to protect anything that you create. That's the main lesson to learn from this, is to protect anything that you make. Because if you rely on outside investors who in fact own shares in the company, they'll rip it away from you or sell it out from under you like they did Gary. So anyway, the booklet here goes year by year, that tells like what happened during the time that he owned it. And it goes on and on about, things that the company owned, buildings, places, some of the Gen Cons that took place. And then, of course, the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons came out. You've got different buildings where maybe the items were being printed at the time, that sort of thing. Here's a picture of Lorraine Williams, who became Gary's nemesis. And she's the one that eventually destroyed and dissolved the company. That's how I understand it. She probably did the best she could, but in the end, didn't know too much about the gaming side of it, was interested more about maybe making novels and hiring artists and publishing books like that. Here's a good picture. The staff at the Sheridan Springs office, and TSR's home here, Wizards of the Coast corporate office. This, of course, was after the company was in dire straits, needed to be saved, and so the company was sold. They talk a lot about the Gen Con Game Fair, and how the attendance kept on leapfrogging year after year. Here's a picture of Gary's home, Gary Gygax, the creator of Dungeons and Dragons. There's lots of stories, but he was the main guy behind the whole thing. He might not have been the original creator of the game, but when he was the one doing all the work, I felt like he was being cheated by, I think it was Dave Arneson or someone else who came up with the basic fundamentals and then hired a lawyer to suck money away from the company, even though he didn't lift a finger. So here's these adventure modules, and you're going to see some of those in a second. Ravenloft, this was something that was made just for, well, I think it was in a file cabinet, and then they just decided to print it for this special edition. This adventure is probably worth a lot of money because it's not found elsewhere by its own. So that was that book. And I believe, I just want to say too, I think my sister went on vacation once to Milwaukee or something like that, and she came back with a whole bunch of photographs of Gary's house. That was kind of nice. So anyway, this is the original cover for White Plume Mountain. If you look at one of my other videos, I've got the later printing of it, but this one here is how it originally looked. You would have seen either this logo or the Lizardman logo on it when it first was published. When it's just two colors like this, the module's called monochrome. If you see just one of these type logos on it, that means it was probably original. If you see the silver anniversary, that means that it was republished in this box set. Here's a great illustration here from a distance by, I believe, Errol Otis, a good artist that worked for the company. Some would probably say way better than good, and I'd agree with them, but here's the original sort of printing and everything for that adventure. There's a giant crab. This one here, it's really a lot of fun. If you got a good DM and if you got a good, shall we say, pace of the game and the story in it, the game could be fun, and it can also be over within a few sessions. This was one of the books that came out of one of the original box. Actually, this came out of the original set that I got to see when I was probably 11 or 12. One of the guys that was only a couple years older than me, his parents gave that set to him, and he had no interest in playing the game at all. I was the first one in our neighborhood that got a group of kids together and said, we're going to conquer this, we're going to see what this is about, and we're going to play this game. So, honestly, this is not the game we ended up playing. I did run a couple things from this, but the scope of it was actually small. Right away after seeing this, I went out and I bought the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons hardcover books with my Paperboy money, and then we started from earnest from there. The spells were very difficult to figure out, but we stuck with it. We asked a lot of questions from older gamers, and eventually we got the gist of what was going on. So here's that module, Deep Dwarven Delve by Len Lakofka. And this adventure doesn't exist anywhere else other than in this set. So it's probably worth, just this adventure module alone is probably worth $150 to $200. So that's kind of interesting. This Ravenloft module, because it came out of this set, it's exactly like the original one, which was published, I believe, in the early 80s. But it was written by Tracy and Laura Hickman. It's one of the best sellers of all time, and that's why it was a later adventure and put in this set, because it sold so well. Such an important part of the overall game and the the company's fortunes. So this map right here is blue. If you had an original one, it would be red. That's how you can tell if you're ever looking for these, say you're at a convention or you maybe you found one at a tag sale, you're not sure. So yeah, but otherwise all the other material is just as that was published years ago. The scans are really good. And I believe that even there's a minor error that goes with it. That's also there as well. It's up to the DM to find that error and fix it or go along. This right here is the beginning of all the Giant series of modules. These were all written by Gary. I have both played and DM'd these adventures, and they're just great. The artwork and everything is old, but I mean, imagine a group of adventurers going out to try to beat up on some giants, especially in the Giants' home turf. One wrong move, and the adventurers are in for a world of hurt. So anyway, I think the adventurers have to be like probably 7th through 9th level, something like that. I forget. But yeah, it was always great to see how the original adventures were published. For such little money and everything that they had, you could tell that great care went into everything they did. And the modules, the adventures, always seemed to make sense. The players would get upset when suddenly they realized that they had alerted the entire compound of giants. And before they knew it, they were just up to their elbows battling these guys. From there, you went on to G2, the glacial rift of the frost giant Jarl. And again, this one super well written. You've got this part here was like a top-down look at the cave systems, plus the middle section is actually outdoors, and it's just packed with loads of enemies. The party has to be careful. Here's this right here. I believe this illustration is not in the original adventure. I could be wrong, but not in the original. I mean, it's not in the reprint. There's some images here that I've never seen before. The adventure is actually, this one here is actually not that big. I remember seeing all of these, of course, when I was a kid in the original shrink wrap, but never. Okay, I'm trying to flip through the pages here. Oh yeah, I remember this illustration. Crazy, just nuts. Again, I'm trying to flip through the pages. I just don't seem to have any. Well, I don't want to rip anything. So there's a Remoraz. This was probably my first image of a Remoraz right here, and you can see that it scored a 20 on somebody, a critical hit, and this thing swallows whatever automatically. And unless the party kills the Remoraz within a certain number of rounds, that character is digested. So anyway, there's this adventure, and I hope you guys don't mind me just kind of slowly going over these, savoring the print and the contents of this. This is the third one. They didn't put any further ones in this. The G went to the D series and then finally the Q series, which at the very end of it, the party is supposed to battle Loth, the Spider Queen of the Drow. But I don't really recommend that for any party, because you have just as well. First of all, getting there alive is just virtually difficult. And if you're a good dungeon master, if the party makes any mistakes, they're doomed. So this adventure is really, really good too. Loads of treasure. At this point, the party is used to fighting giants, and they should have. This is the image from the monster manual. They also put it here. And I think this is also in the original printing of that adventure. But they get to free some prisoners. I think she's like an elven thief or something. The giants, they don't kill everything, especially if you surrender. And of course, I've covered this. This is also included. Keep on the Borderlands. You've got the silver anniversary, of course, on all these somewhere, and it lets the consumer know that he's bought a reprint, but it doesn't really matter. These are all going for big bucks. This right here is a print that I think Jeff Easley did for just this box set, and it's got his signature in an ink pen on it. I don't know what is mine is 206 out of 1,000. So I don't know. Maybe that means there was only 1,000 of these box sets made, but the image is pretty good, and yep, that's essentially it. This is a card for the RPGA Association. I never really wanted to belong to that. So yeah, tell me what you think about this. Was it worth the $50 at the time? I don't know if it'd be worth $500 and up. I don't know if I'd want to pay that. That's kind of steep, but it looks like a lot of fun. And of course, these are still usable. Have a great evening.